Good evening. This is David Jetley and
Fred.
And this is Evening Report from the Second City. Well, Fred, there's certainly many troubled areas in the world for us to investigate tonight.
Yes,
Where
there
would
are,
you
David.
suggest we begin?
Oh, fortunately, we can just take our pick. Why don't we start out with our good neighbors to the south?
Well, how far south?
Well, David, since we're doing reporting in depth, let's go to the deep south.
Very good, very good. Our roving reporter, Ned Psky, earlier today taped an interview in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, with Governor Jimmy Sunshine. So take it away, Ned.
This is Ned Psky, NBC News. We're down here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana this afternoon on a very hot and humid day to interview the governor of Louisiana, Governor Jimmy Sunshine. Now, the governor has conceded to come out and air his views on integration, desegregation, and so on. We're waiting on him now. Oh, here he is now. Ladies and gentlemen, the governor of Louisiana, Governor Jimmy Sunshine. Governor, he seems to have wandered off here. Governor, hello there.
Hi there, how are you?
Very nice to see you, Governor. Governor, it's certainly... Governor, hang on, sir. I'm Ned Psky. I'm here to interview you this afternoon.
Oh, yeah. Hi, how are you?
Fine, Governor. Just looking at the cameras there, sir. We're on television
Oh,
here.
cameras, yeah. Well, I thought it was going to be radio. I'm a little bit dégagé.
That's all right. Very nice of you, sir, to come out here and take time off from a very busy day, I'm sure, and answer a few questions.
Thank you very much. I'm always as happy to be as cooperative as I could to have.
Yes. Governor, certainly you've had some interesting events down here in Louisiana. You've had a court order to integrate your schools and so on, sir.
Yes,
How do you feel about that?
Well, that court order, which many people have heard about, says we have to integrate the first 6th grades to the school. And I feel about that order the same way a very great number of very fine people might have felt had they been living at this time, I think.
Governor, it's certainly interesting. You've had a lot of trouble down here in Louisiana.
No, I wouldn't say that. We had an incident or two down here a couple of years ago, but that's not a trouble. Everybody knows that.
Well, I was thinking, Governor, you were extremely critical of the press at the time, the northern press, and the way they handled the situation down here in Louisiana. What about that, sir?
Yeah, well, I think I was right in being critical, too.
How was that, Governor?
Because we got enough trouble down here in Louisiana with a lot of people coming in who do not know anything about the situation and causing a lot more trouble and telling a lot of lies about us. Now, I do not think that they should be allowed to do that.
Well, all right. But on the other hand, sir, I'm sure you go along with freedom of the press, freedom of speech, and so on.
I don't know what you're accusing me of here. But I uphold the Constitution of the United States of America now.
I'm sure
I
you
swore to do that.
I'm sure you
And
do,
I
sir.
believe that any newspaper should be allowed to print anything that it wants to.
Wonderful.
So long as it's true and it's right and it's good.
I'll go along with that,
And
sir.
they never do, they never have, and they never will. And they ought to be wiped out and suppressed, all of them right now. I uphold the Constitution. Now, y'all heard me say that.
Well, what about the riots down here, sir? Your good white citizens of Louisiana were participating in riots. Now, what about those riots?
Well, we had riots down here, and nobody is trying to deny that. And those riots were low, mean, nasty, dirty, detestable things.
Glad to hear you say that.
And they were a smirch on the fair name of the great state of Louisiana. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all those wonderful young people that made those riots possible. and furthermore, I'd like to show everybody that there are going to be no more riots in Louisiana.
Well, we're glad to hear that, sir.
Unless it's necessary. And there will be, too, I can tell you that, if I got anything to do with it.
Governor, it seems to me, sir, that you're bound to have integration down here in Louisiana sooner or later.
Well, son, it's a long cow that has no tail.
I didn't quite follow that, Governor. I wonder, sir, do you mind explaining that for our viewing audience, sir?
Yeah, well, my mother said that.
Oh, wonderful. What did your mother mean by that, sir?
Well, she's dead.
I'm sorry, Governor. I didn't...
It's all right.
Well, just what does your mother have to do with
You
integration?
stop talking about my mother.
Well, Governor, I didn't bring up your mother here.
You lay off my mother. You're on television.
Governor, why don't you answer my question, sir? Why not have integration?
I'll answer any question.
Why not have integration, sir? Obey the order and avoid a lot of trouble.
Now, you see, you didn't put it that way. We're going to have integration down here. We're going to go through a very brief, a very difficult transitional period.
Son of what?
And then we're going to get back to segregation again. Next week. I don't know. Don't ask me.
Governor Jimmy Sunshine of Louisiana.
We have a special report now. Our roving reporter, what is his name again?
Well, honestly, he's been roving so much, I've...
Ned.
Oh, Ned
Yes,
Psky,
he's the
of
one.
course, yes.
Ned is out there
He's in
right
a
now.
saloon.
No, well, he's in a nightclub.
Nightclub, I mean. He's live, though.
Live
He's
in a nightclub.
here tonight.
He's out there investigating one of the most burning, pressing questions of our day, the comparison between the free world...
The West.
That's right. And the communist world.
Or East.
That's left.
Well, that's What's left?
Well, it's what's left except for the neutral nations.
The ones that haven't been committed, you mean?
Yet, well, that's correct, yes. Well, anyway, let's go out to Ned Psky now and find out what the people are thinking.
This is Ned Psky. We're in the thyroid room of the Hotel Westin here tonight, and we're going from table to table, interviewing various people. Here's a young lady. I haven't talked to her yet. Hello there. May I join you?
Well, why not?
Fine, very nice too. Would you mind answering a few questions, being on television?
Oh, for heaven's sake. So?
It's kind of exciting, isn't it? What is your name, please?
Anthrope.
Miss Ann Thrope?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And do you work here in New York City, Miss Thrope?
No, actually, I'm here vacationing. I'm really trying to whip out my M.A. now. I'm a psychology major from Bryn Mawr College.
Wow, very exciting. Also doing a little field work, I see. Miss Thrope, I was wondering, being a psychology major, I'm sure you're interested in problems.
Oh, well, heavens yes. Problems excite me a whole lot.
Wonderful. We were just kicking around a question earlier in the bar about the comparative economies of the Soviet Union and the United States. Let me ask you this. You think that in a time of, let us say, peaceful coexistence, that the Russians would beat us in an economic race?
Oh, well, that's quite a question.
It certainly is.
Rephrase it, will you?
Well, yes. Let me put it this way. Let's say, on the one hand, we compare the economy of Russia with the economy of the United States. Do you follow?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say, well, there isn't danger of a conflict of any kind, a war. Do you think, on the one hand, the Russians would outproduce us?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
A little more graphic
well,
that way, yeah.
Sure. Well, here's my feeling on this subject.
Wonderful.
I feel that whether you're an American or whether you're Russian, it certainly doesn't matter who you are or where you come from, because it's my belief that basically we're all very, very similar.
Similar?
Yes, and by that I mean to say we're all equally tense and neurotic.
Tense and neurotic?
Yes. Now, the Russians, for one thing, are sadly lacking in the area of mental health.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, they have very few mental patients.
I think I see your point. Yeah, it's a very interesting one indeed.
We Americans, on the other hand, have very straightforward, simple, I might even go so far as to say quite outgoing nervous breakdowns.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, because I understand that 1 out of 10 Americans has this kind of breakdown.
Yeah, that's true, and we've all read that on our buses, of course.
Our buses, Miss Thorpe?
Yes, up above on the...
Oh, the signs on the buses.
Yes.
Yes, they're very instructive, aren't they? I think we
Yes.
should follow them more, don't you?
Well, I don't know. Whereas the Russians, now the Russians sublimate their potential nervous breakdowns, and they channel this energy into areas, for example, like the sciences, invention, chess playing, sports, ballet, things like that, and it's awfully sneaky.
Sneaky, yes.
Yes, they may very well be ahead of us in these areas, but we're way out front in mental health.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Thrope. Ned Psky here, taking it back to News Center. Thank you very much.